G'day there, legends. Warne here, coach of the Warne Dawgs. Not so mighty Warne Dawgs these days. Struggling a fair bit as we go into round 5. It is Gather Round. We wish we were there. Next year, hopefully, if Gather Round happens again, we will make our way there and we will put on a bloody party, a fantasy footy party. And hopefully we've got better teams at this point of the season when it comes around next year. Anyway, let's have a look at how the Warne Dawgs are sitting at the moment. So after last night's game, outside the 20,000 now, but that's mainly because I don't have Dawson, and I also would have liked to have VC'd my Laird. I didn't VC Laird. Pretty much, Thursday nights, and people can call this an excuse or whatever it is for us, but Thursday nights is a bit of a struggle, and Roy and I were sitting here going, right, we've got that many rookies here from these two teams in the sense of Cowan, bench, emergency. We thought, let's go Holland's bench emergency there, and also Pedlar. And Pedlar, after that hot start, I think he must have had about 35 or so in the first quarter and basically didn't score much after that. So he was looking good, and I was thinking that was going to be a great option to have. Now, you might have noticed there, I've got Nick Daicos, which I haven't had before. So I've made my trade, which was Docherty to Daicos. Obviously, I can edit that trade because Daicos hasn't played yet, but that's probably going to stay as it is. So what am I doing with my second trade? Now, I do have Will Day, and that is an issue, and I was hoping that Cowan could score something awesome for me to take, and what I mean by awesome, something over 50, which would have been a PB by 5 points anyway for him, the way he's gone. So I'm in two minds. Will Day is going to stay for me at this stage. It could change during the day, I'm not sure, but Will Day will stay. And what my plan was, it was initially Campbell Chesser out and to bring in Wagner. That's Corey Wagner from Fremantle, mature age player. They're playing at 5:10 today, Eastern Time, so make sure you're across that if you're doing that. That gives us a 10-minute window between the 5 o'clock teams and that. The 5 o'clock team that we could have a worry on is Cam McKenzie, who is named on the extended bench if they give him a rest this week, because that changes things as well. Anyway, so my plan is, instead of Chesser out, is to go Owen Davey. Now, I know Owen Davey is, he's being rested essentially this week. His break-even's 23. Yes, that's very achievable and he should go up a bit more coin, but I'm a bit worried that, I don't know, his scoring may not quite be exactly what we need it to be. It's sort of starting to slip a little bit there. That 39 puts a bit of a dent in that. So while he might be still a great cash cow to have, I'm actually going to offload him. So he's going to go to Wagner, and the handy is Wagner's got the defender mid status. Now he's 285k, so get a couple of dollars out of that, but we'll go back and see what that looks like in my team here. I'm left now with 296k for next week, and I don't love taking that much coin in, but I've got a lot of problems that I need to fix. So my plan here is then to go Wagner down back and then flick him with Day. Jesus, look at that. Look at what my D3 is now, Stocker. I've got my OCD on. I want to keep them in order. So that's what that will look like. The moment Philippou I've got playing for Hollands, that's probably likely to be the case there. I would love to back in Van Ruin, but I don't think I can. I can't. That was a bit of a hard watch last week. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. Now, the other part of this, and this is another excuse, but Thursday night games screw us around a bit. Roy and I were just, hold on. Yep, let's just have a look at them. Let's get them on as our emergencies. It's actually screwed me up with a potential loophole now, because McAndrew plays tonight, and that would be before who my realistic VC options are. So for a weird reason, I've gone Taranto there as VC because he does play tonight. If he scores something ridiculous, I'll take Holland's 49 and bench Philippou and put Chesser on, because it's probably not going to be a huge amount of difference between Philippou and Hollands. Like, realistically, Hollands probably scores more than Philippou, but I've got to back in Philippou to try to do a little bit better there. So that is where I'm sitting at the moment with that. English is my skipper. I don't mind Josh Kelly as an option, but I might need to do a little bit more timing and maths on that, which obviously could mean that I could go with some other options. I could go English as my VC into Kelly as captain if I wanted to because of the timing of those games. But that's something I've got to think about a little bit more. So it's been not a great week for the Warne Dogs, and I'm not exactly sure where that's going to sit. So we do have a big weekend with the 5 o'clock teams come out. Then at 5:10, that's when the Fremantle and Gold Coast game starts. So probably nothing out of that massively, but I guess the Sunday teams is the thing that is going to be of concern. If Cam McKenzie is rested, if he's named as an emergency, which they might, make him the sub for the week or something like that. Fingers crossed that's not the case, though. He's obviously, he's in a lot of our teams and on field, so we want to make sure that he is there scoring some points for us. I reckon that's almost about it for what I can talk about for today. Thanks very much for tuning into all of our stuff. If you haven't joined up to our Patreon, you can do, and try to get into that now. At the $10 level, you can join our Epic Knockout competition, which will be starting next week. So what will happen is the top 512 teams out of their round 6 scores will go through to the knockout, where it will be first versus 512th and knocking down each week all the way through. We do take the 4 bye rounds off for that, though. We'll have more details. If you go back and listen to the Pintcast for the week, which is a very fun one, you'll be able to hear a little bit more about how that all goes down. So Patreon is fun. We're having a lot of fun with it, but I think people are really enjoying that bonus content and also the other stuff that's there as well. Jaden's stat sheet is epic, and also just, I guess, the looseness, the bit of old school DT talk stuff that we do have in that. So anyway, the Warne Dogs struggling a little bit here. We'll be right. We'll try our best to get there. So 300k in the bank next week, which would then, and what the plans are for that is maybe a Warple up to a... I don't mind. Took Miller is an option there for me. But yeah, we'll just wait and see what that looks like, because you don't want to plan too far ahead, which is another issue for me. I don't want to take 300k into the bank. So I didn't actually explain this very well. I did in the article on the Friday Fantasy Fill-Up, which you can check out lunchtime on DT Talk. I was looking at, I could just go simply my Will Day to Tom Stewart, which might be a better and smarter play just to do that, but I feel like it's a bit of a long-term play to get one of these cash cows, in the sense of Corey Wagner. Next week we're going to have some other cash cows as well, so I want to be able to make sure that I've got the cash generation is one thing cruising along, and then also just that eye to the future that next week I'm going to be able to put Sheasel in that back line. So looking at that, one of these guys go off. See you later, Wilmot, you go off, and then the week after Will Day's in, so then I'll be down to nothing there. I'm going to have more confidence in playing some of the rookies out of the midfield, especially too if I'm picking up, and we might see Johnson getting a game now, Sturt getting a game. I don't know if Warner will be exactly. Roberts, those guys could actually get in there and really now cement their spots in the side, and that's something that I'm going to be really focused on and really seeing, and they're the guys that can float through as those rookies on field rather than these defenders, because they are screwing us over week in, week out. Lockie Cowan needs to go at some point soon anyway. That's the other side of it. Anyway, options are there, options are open, and there's a lot of DPP going on in my team now, which is also a very handy thing to have, especially with all the issues that we're getting. All right, thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. I'll have these out every Friday, and also we have our podcast on a Monday, and we might try to get some other stuff going through this channel a bit more. We want to use it a little bit better, but as always, keep clicking on dreamteamtalk.com, and also check out our Patreon. We'll be back on Sunday night. You might see in the background here, we've got a new little bloody backdrop, which is nice to look a bit better than the morgue that someone called our wall from Sunday night. Anyway, thanks legends, and good luck for Gather Round. Wish we were there.